Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Golly, I'm being exotic. Machines is robotic, so we can make billions from building a hobby.
I stand before you today, not just as a fan, but as a defender of a show that has unjustly been dragged through the mud. Kept you waiting, huh? She-Hulk Attorney at Law has faced relentless criticism, and I'm here by myself to present a case in favor for it. I'll show you why Jennifer Walters deserves better and why this series was more than just the sum of its memes and meta moments. Now, I'm not here to try to convince you to fall in love with it. Reasonable minds can disagree, but I am here to present a case that She-Hulk Attorney at Law is a bold, misunderstood, and significant addition to the MCU. This show represents more than just a series. It's a reflection of storytelling bravery, character exploration, and cultural commentary. Let's go ahead and break it down piece by piece and see if the evidence sways your perspective. Before we dive into specifics on the show, let's establish who this was designed for. Not every MCU project is built for everyone, and She-Hulk Attorney at Law is no exception. This series carved out its own niche and it boldly leaned into it. I present to you the three distinct groups for which this show was crafted for: fans of the character, MCU fans craving variety, and women, and those of us that are empathetic to their experiences. Now, for those of us who have followed She-Hulk through the comics, this show is kind of a dream come true. The humor, the slice of life storytelling, the fourth wall breaks, and the legal drama were all faithful to the She-Hulk we know and love. In fact, if you're a fan of John Byrne's iconic sensational run, then you saw this series as a love letter to She-Hulk's comic book roots. It captured her essence, the mix of wit, charm, and the light touch of chaos that makes Jennifer Walters so unique in the Marvel Universe.
Why are you talking to me like I'm a stray horse?
Jen?
Yeah?
The MCU has a pattern: save the world, fight the big bad, rinse and repeat. But every so often, Marvel tries to break that mold and explore some new, unfounded territory. She-Hulk stepped into this experimental space, offering a lawyer comedy that explored the mundane yet hilarious side of superhero life. Instead of another Avengers-level threat, it was more about navigating the complexities of career, dating, and self-acceptance, all with a comedic fourth wall breaking twist. It was a breath of fresh air for those ready to see Marvel take more risks and try something truly different.
Yes! I knew it!
You're not drunk?
Captain America!
Now here's where the show truly stands apart and shines. She-Hulk wasn't just about being a superhero, it was also about being a woman in today's world, facing challenges that are often overlooked and dismissed. This show held up a mirror to real relatable issues, from navigating societal expectations that demand you to be everything to everyone, to exhaustion of online harassment and public scrutiny. I mean, it spoke to the trials of middle-aged dating, a subject rarely touched upon in superhero media, and the constant juggling act of balancing personal aspirations and professional life. But more than any of that, She-Hulk asked us to empathize. For women, it resonated deeply, reflecting to the micro and macro aggressions that can make everyday life feel kind of like a battlefield. For empathetic viewers, those of us willing to look beyond the surface, the series offered a heartfelt exploration of what it meant to navigate that life with grace under pressure, all while carrying an added weight of societal judgment. It wasn't about smashing things.
Bruce smashes buildings, I smash fourth walls and bad endings. And sometimes Matt Murdock.
Well, I mean, it kind of was. But it was about enduring and thriving in a world that often feels stacked against you. In this way, She-Hulk provided a voice and a perspective that no other project had dared to center. It wasn't just a superhero show. It was a story about humanity, vulnerability, and resilience. That's why, for those willing to engage with the themes, it hit home like nothing else.
I'm gonna stop you, because, none of that's my concern.
Okay.
So there you have it. Three distinct audiences, each for whom had something special to gain from this series. Let's now dive into the heart of the case. What worked and what didn't. First, let's talk about what I love. Tatiana Maslany's performance. Initially, I doubted the casting because I wanted Alison Brie. I saw like a fan casting picture and I thought that was cool. But Tatiana owned this role like more than anybody else. I mean, I don't think anybody else could bring the level of heart, humor, and the vulnerability to Jen in the way that she did. Her ability to transition seamlessly between Jen's grounded humanity and She-Hulk's larger-than-life personality was like a masterclass in character work. I love her. The humor and tone. So like I said, the show leaned into She-Hulk's comic roots, quirky, self-aware, and unapologetically fun. It wasn't afraid to laugh at itself or the superhero genre as a whole, reminding viewers that not every story needs to be grim and serious with world-shattering impact. The Daredevil team up, because it's not a crossover. Matt Murdock's charm and his chemistry with Jen made for some of the best moments in the series. Daredevil's walk of shame, hilarious and perfectly in line with the playful nature of the show and the comic. Their dynamic was a highlight, which most people agree on, blending Jen's sass and Matt's stoicism in a way that really felt fresh and exciting. The meta ending, bold, unexpected, and straight out of She-Hulk's playbook. I mean, the fourth wall breaks were done in such an extreme way that showcased the writers and their willingness to take risks and embrace the unconventional. Much like the character herself, not too serious to not laugh at themselves. Slice of life commentary. I mean, this show tackled everyday issues like middle-aged dating, sneaker culture, influencer obsession, and toxic masculinity in such a refreshing way that it felt relatable and it was often pretty hilarious. The Lulu wedding episode. I mean, this episode was like this clever metaphor for Jen stepping out of her own spotlight to support others, all while showcasing the absurdity of navigating societal expectations during major life events. Plus, it was the introduction of the MCU's first trans actress and a welcome milestone, which was a metaphor for the entire episode. Jen's character arc, the overarching story of Jen learning to accept that her life's trajectory had irrevocably been changed, was compelling. Watching her balance her desire for a normal life with her growing responsibilities as She-Hulk gave emotional depth, and we hadn't really seen that before from a superhero.
What is the responsibility of those with power? Do they merely have an obligation to refrain from the misuse of that power? Or do they have a duty to protect those without it?
Commentary on internet trolls. The way the show preemptively addressed toxic fandoms and online harassment was not only timely and genius, but also audacious. I mean, calling out incel culture. I mean, that added layers to a narrative that already felt deeply relevant.
Why do we have to act like she earned everything? Here's where I'm at. Superpowers should go to the best person suited for the job, right? Exactly. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about some things that didn't work for me. Some of the VFX, some shots didn't land, but let's put it in perspective. I mean, was it worse than the final fight in Black Panther?
Absolutely not.
And for a series that pushed the boundaries of television budgets, it delivered way more often than it faltered. The courtroom scenes, I mean, they lacked like stakes and depth. While the show marketed itself as a legal comedy, the courtroom moments often felt secondary to the slice of life elements. I think a deeper dive into Jen's legal acumen could have added an intriguing layer to the series. The retreat storyline, I mean, it was fun, but it felt like filler. I mean, it was filler. Let's be honest. While it provided some character development, it diverted attention away from the core narrative and it didn't feel essential to Jen's journey anyway. I would have preferred the show to lean harder into the lawyer's show premise with more gripping courtroom drama to enhance the stakes and highlight Jen's brilliance. Heavy-handed messaging. While the themes were important and relevant to today, some of the moments just lacked charisma. I mean, a more nuanced approach could have made for the messaging to go over a little better, which is one of the chief complaints people have. Pug. While the series excelled in giving side characters depth, Pug felt kind of one-dimensional and didn't really resonate as authentically as other characters did. He was kind of off his comedic beat at times, and he kind of just overall missed the mark for me.
Will you stand in line with me waiting for a sneaker drop? The Iron Man 3s are coming out and they're limited to 1 pair per customer.
Why do you need 2 pairs?
One to rock and one to stock.
I'm ready to give my closing argument now.
In closing, Your Honor, She-Hulk Attorney at Law dared to step outside the confines of what an MCU show is expected to be. It embraced risk, it injected humor, and delivered a story unapologetically true to its comic roots. Jennifer Walters wasn't just a superhero, she was a person navigating the challenges of a dual identity while staying true to herself. That's not a Mary Sue. That's a fully realized, flawed, and relatable character that reflects the struggles we all face in finding balance. Yes, it had its imperfections, but those imperfections were part of its charm, a sign that the show was willing to experiment and to push boundaries and to hold up a mirror to societal issues that we face today. It wasn't just about smashing villains. It smashed some people, but it was about smashing stereotypes and breaking conventions and reminding us that being a hero doesn't always mean being perfect. So if you didn't like the show, that's fine. Art is subjective and She-Hulk wasn't meant to cater to everyone. But dismissing it as woke garbage or claiming it had bad storytelling does a disservice to the bold conversations it sparked, the representation it delivered, and the legacy it carries forward in storytelling. At its heart, the series wasn't afraid to be different. And in a world of endless sequels and formulas, that's something that we should be celebrating. Members of the jury, I rest my case. If you agree, or even if you don't, let's continue the conversation in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this discussion, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button for more nerdy content just like this. Until next time, I'm Matthew Lucas. This is Revenge of the Nerd.